Hey, this is Brindlewolf. You're listening to Rise Awakenings, part of the Rise Radio Network where advice meets action, with programs to spark your growth, lift your spirits, and help you rise into your potential. Rise Awakenings, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice where dreams awaken and climb. Rise Awakenings, now is the time. Rise Awakenings, let's rise together.
Start with the quiet parts, the things you hide behind your laugh. Sit with the ache a while. Let every question breathe and ask, who was I trying to be? Who am I when I just stay? Name every tender scar and let them have their say. Start with the quiet parts, the things you hide behind your laugh. Sit with the ache a while. Let every question breathe and ask, who was I trying to be? Who am I when I just stay? Name every tender scar and let them have their say. Till your heart carries you. This is the blues.
Pages of old beliefs, stories that kept you playing small. Lay them out on the floor, see which ones never fit at all. Offer your younger self a kindness you never knew. Whisper you're safe
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I missed y'all last week, so here we are today. So, if you're new here, the podcast is basically a repeat of my Sunday Circle, which I do in person here in Columbus, Ohio. And it is a topic, and I speak on that topic based on my knowledge and experience, and I just share what I've gained over the years in the greatest degree of love, of course. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Thank you, Micah, for being the man behind the curtain that presses all the buttons and makes sure that this actually happens. And if you want to go dive deeper with me, then just reach out to me on the socials or on the website. And today's topic, I actually asked one of you in Messenger, so what do you want to be talking about on Blue Moon Monday? And the answer I got was beautiful and brilliant. So today we are talking about reconciliation. Reconciliation, most especially with regards to our relationship with ourselves, accepting ourselves for who we are and creating a positive relationship with who we are. So how do we reconcile with ourselves? Let's dive in. Okay, this is a great topic for us this week. You'll see that reflected in Phoenix Talks as well. So we know we're not here to fix ourselves, right? We're here to remember ourselves. Okay, so reconciliation to me is the sacred act of ending the war within yourselves and choosing love over judgment. And it's really a journey back home to your soul. That's what reconciliation is to me. It's the bridge between you and who you have been in the past and had to be in the past, and who your soul always known you to be and who you're supposed to be and who you're becoming. You're becoming more of you. Okay. So when you think of reconciliation, you think of things like I forgive myself, I release who I thought I had to become, I welcome who I truly am, right? These are all great, great, great things because many people spend years disconnected from themselves because of their trauma, expectations, disappointments, grief, survival, blah, 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 all that stuff, right? We don't lose ourselves. And I think that's where we get confused sometimes and stuck. We don't lose ourselves. We simply become completely buried underneath all of those layers of protection, right? From all of that trauma. So we know why we disconnect from ourselves, right? We've got the childhood wounds, we've got rejection, we got shame, we got betrayal, we got feeling unseen, we got spiritual disconnect, all blah, 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 all that stuff. There's laundry lists. So the question that we have to ask ourselves to help us discover why for ourselves is to ask ourselves, when did we stop believing that we were enough? When did we stop believing that we were enough? Okay, the ego responds by creating armor, right? And our soul, our truth, our divine being is patiently waiting underneath all of that, okay? We never leave ourselves. We're always with ourselves. We just are buried, right? Spirit doesn't abandon us. How many of us have felt like we were abandoned from something greater in the beyond, whatever you pray to? Spirit doesn't abandon us, okay? Our higher self never stops loving us. Our intuition never stops whispering its truth to us, right? What changes over time is our ability to hear it, and it gets buried and buried and buried under all of that stuff. So we go through healing, and we heal and we heal, and we learn how to heal. We learn how to reconnect. Okay. Healing isn't becoming someone new. I've said that before. It is removing everything that convinced you that you weren't already whole. So this is where reconciliation is very, very, very important. Okay. We don't have to think we're perfect. That's not what self love is. We know that, and I feel like I need to say it again for this particular discussion. So let this be validation and reinforcement. It's not about perfection. There is none. What do you think is perfect? That's the only one that matters. It's not about never making mistakes, especially when you're neurospicy, because we're operating in a system that is requiring us to be a certain way that we can't function in. So we're going to make quote unquote mistakes in this system that we're not built for. It's going to happen. So it's not about never making mistakes. It's not about always feeling confident. We're going to question ourselves as we go along because there's uncertainty as we're navigating through new territory and evolving. So loving ourselves is reminding ourselves that even in those moments where we have this perception of brokenness or not enoughness or whatever, we understand that we have our own backs and we refuse to abandon ourselves. We refuse to abandon ourselves because we know our truth deep down inside, right? So we just, in those moments, and part of the reconciliation is sitting and asking ourselves, can I sit with my pain without judging it, without judging me? Can I speak to myself like someone I deeply love and have utmost compassion and empathy for? Can I honor my needs instead of apologizing for their existence? Ooh, we all struggle with that one, don't we? We never want to be a burden, but also we need to honor ourselves. So, like, how do we do that and then allow ourselves to carry forward? So, this is where reconciliation comes in. So, reconciliation, and you're going to hear this repeated as a theme this week, is not forgiveness. It does, however, require forgiveness. So sometimes it's most difficult to forgive ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves for what we didn't know at the times that we put ourselves in survival protection mode. We have to forgive ourselves for the times that we chose to do things and act in ways in survival that didn't really feel right in our heart. We have to forgive ourselves for the relationships that taught painful lessons, whether we were the aggressor, quote unquote, in that, or it was an aggression was done towards us. So like there's both sides to that one that we need to navigate through and forgive ourselves for. Okay. We also have to forgive ourselves for like the years of doubt that we have in ourselves. We don't believe ourselves. We have issues with our self-worth, feeling not enough, feeling this, feeling that. We have to forgive ourselves for how we saw and perceived ourselves. Okay. And remembering that underneath all of that forgiveness, is the understanding of your experiences and your knowledge and how you acted in survival and what you thought in survival has nothing to do with your pure, true, natural state of being. It's has to do with your experiences and your surrounding and what you've been exposed to in this timeline, in this human ride that we're on, right? So that forgiveness for yourself has to come with that deep compassion and understanding. You cannot reconcile something within yourself if you don't forgive yourself for anything and everything you thought you might have done wrong or whatever has been, whatever shame and guilt and judgment and expectations have been all projected and demanded of you from your very unique and specific experience. So take all of that, all of your experiences, your lessons, your interactions with people, you take all that stuff away and give yourself a clean slate, and you see that you would choose to align yourself in something that felt more warm, loving, gentle, compassionate, and kind towards yourself. So give that to yourself now. That's what forgiveness is going to require from you. And we're not going to reconcile anything if we still hold ourselves to this shame, this guilt, this judgment for what we had to experience in survival mode. we're not going to be able to move forward. So remember, forgiveness doesn't erase the past, it frees your future. Okay? The past is the past. It's how we look at it, how we see ourselves, what we are able to learn from and receive, what knowledge we can receive from that experience, okay? From those behaviors, from those mindsets we held, right? So when we're moving forward, part of the reconciliation process is to stop yourself from looking in the rear view mirror, right? We can honor our past. We can, with that reflection, with the forgiveness, with the seeing ourselves from the eyes of, wow, I made it through all of that, and I did it still with a tender heart and an open heart to move forward. That's huge. So we got to honor what we learned. We learned from it. We were blessed by it in unfortunately sometimes painful ways, but we learned. Okay, so to move forward, we have to ask ourselves, we have to recognize when we're going down rabbit holes, pause ourselves, reconcile with ourselves, to ask ourselves, who am I becoming now? Every single day is another opportunity to choose alignment instead of fear. Every single day. Every day has do-overs, multiple do-overs whenever you decide to do a do-over. Okay? And that's not to say there's not going to be friction and strife and issues with people, because the reality is that we are always going to have lessons in order for us to get to know ourselves. And our information is just limited to the information that we've learned up to this point. So the idea is to take new information in and to allow new information to come into our experience to replace the old information that we need to reconcile. Reconciliation is closure for ourselves. Closure for ourselves. That's what we need to have. So, with reconciliation being closure for ourselves, it assists us in becoming and seeing who we need to become, seeing the ways in which we need to become something different than ourselves, right? Because at the end of the day, we are the only important thing for us moving forward. Not what happened to us, not how we responded to things, who we are in this moment right now and what we believe about ourselves right now is what is important for who we're becoming. So make sure, let me just go back and make sure we understand, reconciliation requires you to navigate through your childhood wounds so that your ego is not responding and that you can live from a heart-centered, authentic, true, aligned space. Remembering that you never abandoned yourself. Spirit never abandoned you. The intuition never stopped. You just stopped hearing it and recognizing it. So reconciling also means giving yourself acknowledgement and acknowledging that you are so solid and so not alone. Okay. Listening, learning to love yourself again on those deeper layers that Micah and I teach you, and other shows, Micah's other shows teaches you, etc. So just learning how to self-love on deeper ways, because you're reinforcing the fact that you are refusing to abandon yourself, right? This is all part of reconciling with yourself and self-acceptance and moving yourself forward. A big piece of this is self-acceptance, which isn't going to happen without that forgiveness piece. So that self-forgiveness piece, to me, is the most important one. Okay? Otherwise, we keep ourselves stuck in that shame and guilt and judging ourselves. And yeah. So we got to move forward with those understandings and actually become who we're trying to become, and recognize that every day is an opportunity to reconcile with ourselves because we're choosing to align with ourselves instead of fear. So I want you all to join me in a little bit of a practice here. We're doing something a little bit different today because I actually want to do a guided reflection with you. And I'm hoping that this spurs some stuff in the communication on the comments and whatnot that Micah is keeping up with. Thank you, Micah. So I'm going to invite everyone to close their eyes if they feel safe and comfortable to do so, and place one hand on your heart and one hand right under your heart on your solar plexus, your upper stomach. And just imagine meeting a younger version of yourself. Just visualize that younger version of yourself, doesn't matter what age. What do they need to hear today? What does that younger version of yourself need to hear today? Now imagine your higher self standing there before your younger self. No judgment, only love, only acceptance, safety. And allow your younger self and your higher self to embrace one another. And just hold that embrace. Hold it for as long as you feel. Feel every version of you, all of them, every version, becoming one with yourself. Allowing yourself to embrace every single version of you with no judgment, only unconditional love and compassion. And deciding you learned a few tricks in those versions of yourself. And those few tricks that you learned as those versions of yourself can be quite useful in the version of you that you're becoming. And that we'll give ourselves gratitude for learning the lessons that we needed to learn. Knowing that it is safe to integrate all of those lessons into who we're becoming, because we have now reconciled and fully accepted who we are. This is coming home to ourselves, and this is reconciliation. When we integrate every version of ourselves lovingly and accept every version of ourselves lovingly within ourselves. And I have some affirmations that I would like to put in the comments for you. So I'm going to do that because I would like to have you guys just have some affirmations to take with you if you wanted to copy and paste them. Let's see if it'll let me do them. Yep, there we go. And I would love for us to start chatting about what are some of the ways, let's talk about this. What are some of the ways that you're struggling to reconcile something within yourself that you thought you should have done differently or can't get past? And I know I'm just going to say this outright, especially when it comes to hurting people's feelings that you were very close to, and doing things that maybe you didn't think through in those moments. So like, let's talk about it. This is reconciling with yourself. And today's topic was given to us by Stephanie, Bubble Kittens. I flat out asked her, like, what do you want to hear? And so I am so grateful for this topic because it is so necessary. So thank you, Bubble Kittens, Stephanie, for one of our moderators. And she also does a lot of social media stuff for us. So thank you. Thank you for this beautiful topic, as it is so incredibly necessary and important. So I'm going to share something that I struggle to reconcile and have to like go deeper layers and deeper layers of healing through. And that is, of course, as a mom with my kids, there are so many things that I wish I did differently and knew differently and didn't understand because I was never taught. I basically duplicated what I was taught. And I was surrounded by abuse. And I was on the receiving end of all of that and trying to also protect my kids from that. And in my dysregulation, ended up traumatizing them. So like, you know, there's that stuff that surfaces from time to time, and that takes deeper layers of self-forgiveness and self-compassion for myself. It's not easy to see that we hurt other people. We don't want to believe that we had the capacity to hurt someone else because we have such a good heart and we mean well. meaning well and intention does not erase impact. So that's why the past is meant for us to learn from. Because if we didn't hurt someone, we wouldn't know that, ooh, that was crappy to do. So there's that part of it. That's the ugly side of the shadow work, but it's necessary for us to fully accept and embrace that we weren't at a place and at a state of understanding that could have navigated that any differently at that time. And our reconciliation is important for us to become the most confident version of ourselves, become the most empowered and embodied sovereignty version of ourselves. Because otherwise, we're always going to have a tender spot and we're always going to have something that someone can hold over us. We need to make peace within ourselves and all shadow sides of ourselves and become friends with who we didn't like, the version of us that we didn't like, that made us feel bad, that did things, that made choices, we need to embrace all of those versions of ourselves. And that's what the shadow work is about. Reconciliation is at the core of shadow work. The point of shadow work is reconciliation. And that is paramount in moving forward in our relationships, in our careers, in our livelihood, in our everyday interactions in life. So I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on? Okay, Bubble Kittens, thank you. I've been told everything is my fault for so long. Anything else feels strange, and I don't fully trust it. Yeah. So reconciling with that is actually a little easier than you think because you said the magic words. You were told everything was your fault. That's not true. It's not in truth. So if you focus on the fact that that's an untruth that was projected onto you by others who were trying to deflect their own issues and insecurities and immaturities around what they fell short with onto you, you've adopted that as your own. Knowing that it was a complete fallacy should give you a little bit more leeway with yourself. And I use the should word because it is a little bit easier when it is a solid projection at you that you just happen to absorb and whatever, because that's what we do as kids. We accept and we internalize everything that's projected at us. So that's at the core of it. So understanding that carries with us throughout our adulthood too, because we are taught that everything is our fault. So knowing that that's something we're taught and knowing that that's bad intel, you can throw that virus in the trash with the rest of the bullshit and set that crap on fire. You decide that your reality is your reality and your truth is your truth. To know your truth, you need to forgive yourself for anything that felt like it was not your truth. And reconcile to move forward so that you can assist yourself in becoming the embodiment of who you know yourself to be. Becoming the embodiment of who you know yourself to be requires for you to accept fully versions of yourself that you aren't with love and compassion. You aren't the problem in every damn scenario. You are not wrong in every way that you choose to do things or words that you say. Like when you become very peaceful and fully acceptant of your thought process and how things feel, you understand fully that you are who you are in your heart, and that's what's trying to come forward. Let that come forward. Let that come out. Why is it I apologize to myself and try to show myself compassion, but I feel guilt still? Because you're still judging, you're carrying judgment towards yourself. You've been shamed. You've been shamed and judged so profoundly and so profusely that you've now been trained that that's how you're supposed to feel. Stop yourself from feeling guilty and ashamed. That's a nope, we're not going to feel that way. Hit the pause button on your brain. Okay? And decide I have nothing to feel guilty about. I have nothing to feel ashamed of. This is not mine to keep. That is that voice in my head from wherever it's coming from whoever it belongs to, is not mine right now. Right now, I am compassion. Right now, I feel sorry for myself. Right now, I give myself a shit ton of grace because it wasn't fair what I had to navigate through without any tools at all on how to navigate through that emotionally. That's what you need to do. Okay? And apologize to yourself for accepting and internalizing other people's judgments, expectations, shame, and guilt that was placed onto you. And let it release. Let it release out of your body. This is a good time to just do a friendly reminder that when we're healing and in this process of healing, our bodies store trauma and emotional health and wellness. So as we heal, stuff is going to release from our bodies in a variety of lovely human expression forms and ways. So be prepared for anything. I believe they're called ascension symptoms. Cinder Kitten says, why is it that I automatically apologize? Feeling in trouble, automatically feeling in trouble when I'm not. People ask me all the time why I'm apologizing, and I have no answer for that. Cinder Kittens, my guess is you're neurospicy and you have a overdeveloped sense of rejection sensitivity. And so we're more prone to feeling like we're doing everything wrong because we've been told we were doing things wrong because we make mistakes. It's that never-ending cycle. So what we have to do for ourselves is remind ourselves, hit the pause button. Stop yourself when you realize that you are apologizing or wanting to apologize. Stop yourself before it comes out your mouth and say, no, I have nothing to be sorry for. This is just part of my experience. So remind yourself that what requires apology is when you have caused some kind of indiscretion or some kind of infraction with a relationship with someone, or made a mistake that had any mistake, but that had consequences for the other person that created more issues for them. Like, if it's a real reason for actually apologizing, an apology has, we need to do, Mike, maybe another topic for how to apologize in more depth and detail. I know we've done that before, but maybe that'll be part of Phoenix Talks. Who knows? We're not supposed to talk about that. But just getting back to what you were asking, we have to recognize when it is appropriate to apologize. You're trained to believe you're always in trouble because that's the abuse that you've endured. It's easier to maintain power, money, and control over you. And I say money in there too because there's financial abuse. It's easy to control you when you're feeling like you can't do anything right. You're feeling like you're doing everything. You're feeling like you're the problem. You're so much easier to control. So you're so trained to feel like you're in trouble all the time that even when you're not in trouble, your body stores the trauma and is reminding you, this situation feels familiar. It feels just like all of those other times that I was in trouble. You hit the pause button on your brain and ask yourself, who is it that I'm dealing with? Do they come with the same energy? Are they coming from a compassionate, concerned space, or are they an asshole? Use your discernment. Actually see in this particular moment, am I in trouble? Even saying that just sounds off, because it's not like it's in trouble. Like, who decides that? It's not us, right? It's some other outside stuff. And it's personified because we're feeling their reaction, or we're getting the consequences of. So that's really the issue. So let's first become solid within ourselves and recognize, no, there's no trouble. I'm not in trouble. I may have made a mistake that created consequences that I feel I'm going to apologize for and atone and reconcile, but I am not going to shame the fuck out of myself for doing this or being that or saying this or saying that. You know what I mean? So, like, please discern. Use your discernment. How am I supposed to discern? Well, expand your education on what those healthier ways of doing, being, seeing, communicating, etc. are. Right? We're evolving. We're leveling ourselves up. So that means we're going to have to, like, recognize and learn what isn't right, so that we can implement something new. That reconciliation, that atonement, that process within ourselves is putting new information in. Okay? And that includes, I am safe. I'm not in trouble. There's no need. It's not an appropriate time to apologize. Okay? Sometimes there's people that you run into that never apologize for anything. Nothing important anyway. Sometimes they only apologize for, like, stupid shit. Like, oops, sorry, I bumped into you. Yeah, I don't care about that. I could tell that was an accident. What about that time when you did this and said that? Like, some people are completely disconnected from that aspect of reconciliation for themselves. So at basic, reconciling something is making the relationship with such and such better. Reconciling, yeah. So I'm gonna take that and then add the self piece to it in a deeper way. Reconciling with yourself is always going to improve how you perceive relationships with others, because their reaction is not what you need to take on as something that you're responsible for. Because I think that's what happens, right? So the more deeply you reconcile with yourself and know that trouble is subjective based on the other person's response. You didn't hear me say this, but if you get caught, if there's like some other stuff going on, like, and that, I don't mean go commit a crime. Please don't do that. That's not what I'm saying. But, sometimes we bend rules. So we feel it in the consequences and the reactions. That's what we feel it. Okay. So we know that. So reconciling is going to be much easier externally and navigated through much easier when we've reconciled with ourselves first, and immediately out the gate apologizing for our existence to other people, and minimizing ourselves because of other people telling us we're in trouble or too much, too not. There's always a problem. There's always going to be a problem. How do we see ourselves? Self-reconciliation, self-acceptance. How do we see ourselves? Let me see what this one says. Cinder Kitten says, I'm trying to radically accept things within me, but I hate radical acceptance. I've stopped doing everything just to discuss that with doctor, and she thinks she kind of kicked my butt. Oh, wait. Discuss it with the doctor, and she kind of kicked your butt. On self-acceptance? Yeah. So self-acceptance isn't going to happen if you don't forgive yourselves. I'm going to repeat that. You have to forgive yourself for who you think you should, could, would be, or shoulda, coulda, woulda been. All you have is now, and all you have is who am I becoming? Okay? Who am I becoming in this moment? Who can I step forward as? In what ways do I present myself? Do I present myself in a manner that shames me, that tells others that I'm not confident, that tells others that I don't believe that I'm trustworthy, that tells others that I'm not safe with myself, so therefore you're not safe with me? How are we showing up for ourselves in the world? How are we showing up for ourselves? Are we reconciling and forgiving all version or accepting all of ourselves fully and completely? Because if we're not accepting ourselves fully and completely because we haven't forgiven ourselves for showing up as we show up, flaws and all, imperfection and all. Okay? Now, we're going to find, wait, hold on one second. I want to read something here. We're going to find that radical acceptance of who we are boosts our confidence exponentially, because you'll start to acknowledge and recognize and then shift and alchemize and affirm yourself of all the little ways in which you're sabotaging yourself because you're not reconciling, right? So radically accepting yourself is going to help boost your confidence. And that's required during for full forgiveness of yourself in that process. I'm radically accepting the idea that, and I joke about it, and people are like, oh, no, you weren't. I'm like, I'm not poo-pooing how great a mom I was. I am fully acknowledging and accepting there were times where I was the shittiest mom on the planet. That's okay. That's got to be okay. It has to be okay because I'm a human being having a human experience. And in those moments that I was a shitty mom, I was incredibly limited by that experience, by my perspective, by my survival mode. How can I not forgive myself? I would have the utmost compassion for anyone else telling me my story, living my story. I would have so much compassion for someone else. I deserve that compassion too. I'm worthy of that compassion too. So I absolutely forgive all of those ugly versions of me that didn't sit right in my soul and didn't feel right at all. Okay. So one more time for the people in the back. You are worthy. You are so worthy. Let's read those affirmations. Okay. I think it's good to read those out loud a little bit. Okay. I am no longer at war with myself. I choose compassion over criticism. I forgive the version of me that only knew survival. I honor the wisdom my journey has given me. I trust the person I am becoming. I come home to myself with love. Remember that. Stop yourself in a moment that isn't your higher self, that isn't spirit, okay? That isn't of all love, that isn't compassion, that isn't unconditional love. That's what returning home to yourself is, reconciling all of the little ways you're self-sabotaging, all of the little ways in which you are not recognizing your own worth and value within yourself. Forgiving yourself for not seeing or hearing yourself properly because you couldn't, because of all the layers that were piled on top of you by all of these external sources, right? So I think it's really important for you to do that little practice where you go and you see a younger version of yourself and you visualize your higher self and them too embracing, and like, I want you to sit with that. Do that. Let's do that like for 10 minutes. I just spewed it out you really quickly here on this this podcast, but I want you to sit with that, and I want you to really go through your experience and honor each version of yourself that helped you survive all of that crap. Don't forget to honor those versions of you that you still love and that's more pure, aligned with your truth, that love, that compassion, okay? Your body is going to release a lot. So sometimes you have to go to the bathroom. Sometimes you yawn a lot. Sometimes you get a rash. Sometimes you have pains in different parts of your body. Sometimes it comes out as an autoimmune disease, okay? Because that's the trauma trapped in your body. So to reconcile all of it, we prioritize our physical health and well-being and discover the ways in which our expression of that trauma is presenting itself so that we can do what we need to do in the physical world to assist our body to heal from the trauma along with our hearts and our minds, right? There's a lot of heart and mind work happening. Our bodies are going to express that in different ways. And Micah's reminding us of this. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Yes. Remind yourself of this when you feel yourself starting to shame yourself. Nope, we're not going to shame ourselves. We're not going to carry out other people's judgments and shame. Okay? I want you to watch Micah's show tonight. Mike, I don't remember the time, and I'm sorry. I'm so bad at the scheduling, remembering thing. But it's up on Rise Radio Network's Embers of Light. It's up on the website and the Facebooks and whatnot. But I want you to watch Micah's show tonight because he pulled some pretty good stuff that's going to tie into what we're talking about here. And I think this whole week is going to be about reconciliation in one form or another. Brindle Vision, thank you. I don't know why that doesn't stick in my brain. I'm sorry. But that's my brain. Thank you, Bubble Kittens. And then I want you to tune into Phoenix Talks. And we have a special treat if Micah wants to play the reconciliation song. I would love for you to play the reconciliation song as we close ourselves out. And as we close ourselves out, I just want you to take a deep breath into your heart and tell yourself, I forgive myself. I forgive myself for any and all indiscretions against myself. I forgive myself for any and all indiscretions against myself. And just keep repeating that. Keep repeating that. Keep repeating that. Keep repeating that. And keep repeating that as the song plays. Micah, cue song. And then we'll pop back in if you want to close it out. I didn't talk to you about that beforehand. So whoops, I kind of threw that at you. That's my fault. Or you can play it at the end, whatever you want to do, because we're basically closing it out and I'm saying goodbye and all those lovely things. So okay, so then if it's not ready, it's not ready. Then you'll hear it on Phoenix Talks if it's not going to happen this. I threw that at him so that was not discussed prior to. So it's all good. Before I go, Bubble Kittens is saying this. We're just going to touch upon this very last one and then we'll close it out. I'm fed up with myself. I'm frustrated because I'm not where I want to be. Okay, so where you want to be is dictated and has been drilled into you by the world that you live in, by the world that you've experienced your whole life. You don't get to choose divine timing. Your job is just to align yourself with your true authentic self, and that's this reconciliation process. Okay, reconciliation to me on the inside as an inside job is what we're doing in the healing process. We are reconciling and resolving and adjusting, and it's all loving ourselves more deeply, forgiving ourselves more deeply, trusting and surrendering to the process. Divine timing is divine timing. Are you aligning to who you are in the inside? Or are you still embodying survival? Who are we embodying? Who am I becoming? That's where the focus is. Not I should have this by this year, this time, this date, this. Just get rid of all of that. Free yourself. Take the pressure off. Free yourself. Freedom. We're looking for freeing ourselves from all judgments, all expectations, all shame, all guilt, all projected requirements, quote unquote requirements, on you. Your journey is yours alone. You're exactly where you're supposed to be for your learning and for your own evolution and growth and expansion. So give yourself gratitude. Part of reconciling is I allow space. I am a safe space. Here's a great one I'm going to add to it. I am a safe space. Space for my growth, evolution, expansion, strength, stability, and security. I didn't spell it, check it, or anything. So let's see if it went up okay. It's going up, however it's going up. No, I totally didn't spell check it. There's typos in it and everything. Whatever. You get the gist. I am a safe space for my growth, evolution, expansion, strength, stability, and security. Be the safe space for yourself. That means take yourself out of the pressure cooker. And on that note, I love you all. Reconcile your heart, your mind, and your body within yourself so that you can make peace with who you are and fully accept yourself. I love you so friggin' much. You guys are the best. Thank you. Anyone else wants to give me a topic, please do so. Go love yourself.
To reconcile, to reconcile. What was done, can't take it back. The hurt, the pain, the wounds from the attack. Don't wanna talk about it, don't wanna feel it anymore. Want a new experience, walk through another door. Decided to forgive, but don't know how to live. Can I reconcile, find the peace within, move beyond what I know? Get back the time, never will forget. Time for reclamation. Get away from the regret. Facing what was done is never an easy task. Far too common question that any counsel asks. Pushing to face things, focus too much on the when. Forgetting you can't change what happened way back then. It's done, it's gone, time to move on. But can I reconcile, find the peace within, move beyond what I know? Thoughts that keep pulling me below. Can't get back the time, never will forget. Time for reclamation. Get away from the regret. The peace I want is waiting, it's on the same, then I can reconcile, find the peace within, rise within the heart, move beyond what I know, leave the past behind, stop the thoughts, quiet in the mind that keep pulling me below. Turn anger into hope, can't get back the time, it's behind me now, I never will forget. Time for reclamation, get away from the regret and find a way to reconcile.
The stars are bloom from the soil of your sorrow. Petals from pain, new color from the soil of your sorrow. Petals from pain, new color in tomorrow. You walk through the dark with a soft, steady truth, holding your heart till your heart can ease you. This is the This is the blue.
Hey, this is Brindlewolf. You're listening to Rise Awakenings, part of the Rise Radio Network where advice meets action, with programs to spark your growth, lift your spirits, and help you rise into your potential. Rise Awakenings, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice where dreams awaken and climb. Rise Awakenings, now is the time. Rise Awakenings, let's rise together.